Hi, welcome to Solutions for Seniors. I'm Linda Pellerin, the Executive Director of the Shepherd Center of Charlotte. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping seniors help other seniors. And this program is really designed to kind of highlight some of the programs and services in the area that help seniors. Today we have two guests from Seniors+Therapy. We have Katie Farrell and Alyssa Kavanaugh. And Seniors+Therapy is a company that kind of deals with, well, depression, or that's what we're going to talk about today, is depression. Mm-hmm. And so, first of all, I have to share with you that over the last month, I have been talking long distance with a cousin of mine who has been going through depression. And she has one of the most extreme cases there are, where she's had to actually go in and get kind of, I guess they call it ECT, and you probably know the full name for that, but I can't remember it all. And she's had, you know, more than several treatments, but she's finally back home now, and we're really excited about that. But before she went into the hospital, you know, we would talk on the phone, and it was just absolutely incredible, the depth of her despair. And nothing I could say or do was helping. And her husband later told me, when someone is that deep in depression, no matter what you say to them, it's like throwing water at a brick wall, and nothing sinks in. Right. And so, and I'm sure that you both are, you know, understand that. Absolutely. And what I want to know is, what are some of the signs that someone is dealing with depression?
Okay. Yeah, well, you know, a lot of that can be they're sad and just, you know, very negative. Like you said, you're throwing water at a brick wall, that no matter what you say, there's a negative response for that. They might stay to themselves. There might have been a hobby that they loved doing before, and all of a sudden there's no interest in it. Can be really irritable and angry. They can be crying a lot, like any little thing can set them off. What else, Alyssa? There's tons of symptoms.
If there's any changes in their eating or sleeping, then that's a big sign of depression. With seniors particularly, waking up early in the morning, earlier than normal, kind of sleeping through the night, but not sleeping a full 8 hours or however many they need. You know, I think just that despair, the sadness, not feeling like yourself is pretty much symptoms of depression.
Okay, if you're undergoing, let's just say mild depression, mm-hmm. What are some of the things seniors and others can do to get through those dark hours?
Right. Well, mild depression should definitely be taken seriously, just as major depression is, because, you know, it can kind of become a tumbleweed. It can get worse as time goes by. But, you know, I would definitely say don't isolate. Definitely include other people in your family, include loved ones in knowing about what's going on with you. They can partake in activities that bring them pleasure. They could exercise, eating healthy, taking care of themselves, letting their doctors know where they're at with their feelings. And then they can always also talk with a therapist or a counselor or a psychiatrist if they want further evaluation and possible medication.
But isn't this like a catch-22? Because you know, if you're having mild depression, or even more than mild depression, you don't want to exercise, you don't want to eat healthy, right. You don't want to talk to anybody, right. So you tend to withdraw. So say you have a loved one who you notice this is happening to. What can people do to help draw them out a little bit more?
Right. And I think that's why a lot of people seek professional help. But when the depression's kind of mild and you're able to manage it, I think just allowing that person not to isolate as much, taking them out, allowing them to engage in things that used to bring them pleasure, joy, exercising the mind and body, all those kinds of things can help. And if they're not helping, then definitely medication and counseling is recommended.
And if it's mild, you know, there's still can be kind of open to doing things, but might just need that nudge. So don't, as the loved one or a friend, say, oh, well, they'll just snap out of it. Say, hey, come on, I haven't talked to you in a couple days. You know, let's go to, you know, this restaurant that we always go to. Really just kind of be an upbeat, positive person to try to generate them to become positive again. But also, if you are close to them, to be able to say, hey, you know what, it's been a little bit that you've been really down or not wanting to do anything, have you ever considered maybe talking to a professional who might be able to give you some more insight into what you're going to? So.
Well, and I have to share with you, years and years ago, after I had my first child, I had a postnatal depression, and it lasted about a year.
Right.
And most people don't think it lasts that long. And I had my husband, bless his little heart. I would be home all day with a screaming child with colic and all sorts of things, and the people wondered why I was depressed. And but I found the way I got out of it was I actually forced myself to get out of the house. I forced myself to meet with friends and to do things, and because I'm like, I cannot keep doing this,
Right.
But when I went to the doctor and said, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm feeling this, this, and this, they actually gave me Valium to take. And I'm thinking, of course, this was a very long time ago, okay?
Right.
And I'm thinking that probably wasn't the best thing. And even after I took one pill, I thought, yeah, I can't do this. This is not the right thing for me. So I didn't do any medication. And I was lucky in that I was able to get out of it myself. My cousin, who's been having these difficulties, this is not her first bout with depression. She started with postnatal depression after her second child. And so she's been doing this on and off for many, many years.
Right.
And so I feel I'm very lucky in that I didn't, once I got through that, I was fine. When I had my second child, I actually planned on it. Of course, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So just because I was all prepared for it.
Right.
I'm always one that wants to be, prepared. Well, how prevalent is depression in seniors?
Yeah, about 6 million adults 65 and older, they say have depression, but that number can actually be bigger because there's that mild depression that so many people don't get help for, so it doesn't get reported. So on the safer side, 6 million, but there's probably actually more than that.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
And
yes.
for seniors living in communities where they're like assisted living or nursing homes, the prevalence is actually even higher. And
because it's probably being diagnosed quicker.
Yes,
Because
yes.
people are
That's a good
actually
point.
seeing them and
Right,
everything. But
right.
if it's a senior who lives alone,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what are the causes of some of this in seniors?
Depression could be caused from a number of different sources. There's biological, where it could be a hormonal imbalance or something, a hormonal disease. It could be situational, a death in the family, or just a change of environment, moving, loss of loved ones, a move, any kind of significant change. Situational depression can occur, or it could be
there's links to Parkinson's disease and stroke, triggering depressive symptoms, or after a major invasive surgery, because you don't have the energy that you once did, it changes your appetite. You might have had a loss of mobility, and so that can kind of trigger you to feel bad about yourself and feeling like, when am I going to get better? Because it's a slow process. So a lot of times depression will set in after, a major event such as a surgery.
Okay. So you're saying that really depression a lot of times can go hand in hand with health issues.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What kind of treatment is available for individuals now? Obviously not Valium.
There's a variety, if you wanted to go the medication route, a variety of antidepressants that they're getting better and better at being able to know the person and target kind of what their body is doing and get those medications to help balance those chemicals. But the medication alone isn't always just going to bring you out of it, because what the medication does is regulates your body, regulates those chemicals and makes you feel better. But a lot of depression has to do with those situations or things that are happening in your life that, medicine won't clear your memories. You have to talk it out and maybe gain a little bit more insight. So there's talk therapy, there's support groups, there's, what else can you think of? That's pretty much, the therapy, medication, support groups. Those are pretty much the main for treating depression at this point.
Okay,
and obviously
so
you said the ECT, that's electric shock therapy, and for people who are really severely depressed and medication's not working, and the talk therapy isn't really kind of bringing the results that they want. There's other surgeries or procedures like that.
Now let's talk a little bit about the ECT. It's because when I found out my cousin was going to have this done, I went on the internet and I'm like, because I'm thinking of things like 40 years ago, where you've got a piece of wood in your mouth or something, and it was like really, really bad, but it's not like that anymore.
No, it's it looks a lot more humane. I mean, basically they're shocking your brain and the chemicals in your brain to kind of restructure, and there's been, I don't know the exact statistic on people who've tried medication and didn't work and then have longer effects or just feeling better after the ECT. You do have to do it in a series, just depending on the level of your depression and what's needed for you. But I think that touches on the stigma that, we have this stigma that you're depressed, you're crazy, you have to get your body shocked, and or you take meds, and so many people say, I'm already on enough medication, I don't want to take anything else. They don't realize that you can feel so much better and the quality of your life can be significantly improved, and if you do just take medication or talk to somebody.
And they don't, you're not awake. It used to be you were awake when you had this done.
Yeah.
And now they put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, they medicate you so that you're not aware. We'll put it that way. Putting to sleep sounds like you're getting an animal down or something. Now, is there any kind of like memory loss with ECT?
There's some short-term memory loss that can come about. Yeah.
Okay. And so there's a lot of times where people who are undergoing depression feel like there's just no light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a lot of help out there for people if they just pick up the phone, right?
Absolutely. Depression is actually treatable in 60 to 80% of cases. So if they're feeling depressed and they can seek help and call a counselor, talk to their doctor about it, maybe get on medication, or at least just do some of that talk therapy, it's treatable. So you don't have to be feeling that way forever. And depression is an illness just like cancer or stroke, and the stigma unfortunately is still there for depression. We want to change that as much as we can, because people shouldn't feel ashamed that they have an illness. They should seek out treatment and get the help that they need, and the help that trained professionals are there to provide them with. Okay,
so if let's say there's a senior out there watching the program now, and they're like, oh, you know what? I may have depression. What can they do? What do they do? What's the first thing they do?
I think the first thing that they could do, they could call us. They're local, they're in the area. We could talk to them about what their symptoms are, what they're going through. If they know of a therapist in the area, then they can call that therapist or speak with their primary care doctor. A lot of times with primary care doctors, they're so busy and they have so much going on that they don't really ask all the time about the emotional aspects of health. And seniors more or less make more complaints about the physical stuff. But the mind and body is very, very connected. So if they go to their doctor and tell them that they're having these symptoms, I'm sure that they'll address them and be able to get them hooked up with the proper professional.
Okay, and what about the senior where family and friends have noticed that they're probably in depression, but they're denying it? What can they do? I mean, you can't literally pick them up, drag them out of their house and take them somewhere and say, okay, you need to talk to these people. I mean,
Absolutely.
What can they do?
Well, we provide counseling services in the seniors' homes, so that kind of helps. A lot of times we just do home visits, go out and see them, let them know that we're available. We can do laundry with them, help them with their dishes, kind of make it really, really comfortable for them, so they don't realize and don't feel like they're being diagnosed. They're not laying on a couch. We're just kind of in their own environment. We're making it as comfortable as possible for them. So if a family member's having a difficult time, they can call us as well, and we can talk them through. If the senior's absolutely opposed to even having someone in the home, then I think some of the stuff we discussed earlier with getting them out and allowing them to realize, okay, I'm recognizing these signs, I'm seeing that you might be depressed, come on with me, let's go to the mall, let's go shopping, let's go exercise, do things that they used to like to do. So
should they even mention depression, or is that sometimes something that scares them?
Right, I guess you could say, are you feeling sad or lonely? we can definitely use other words to get around, what truly depression is. Talk about the symptoms more than the illness. I think that's a safer bet. That's a good idea, yeah.
And what are some of the other things that you do to work with them? Are there like games you play or certain techniques that you use
Absolutely.
that keep them,
Absolutely.
so that they don't feel like they're being, their privacy is being invaded or whatever?
Right. Well, we always welcome seniors, and we thank them for welcoming us into their homes, and we respect their space, and we let them know that we're there to help. So I guess we tend to use a problem-solving approach and client-centered approach. So whatever they say, and we're not there to change them. We don't want to change their lives or change their minds about things. We just want to help them to cope with and deal with best they can what's going on with them at that current time.
Really just kind of meeting them where they're at. If they're not even willing to admit that they're depressed, say, okay, well, just tell me about your day and what that looks like. And a lot of times when you're in their home, we can kind of get them talking about family through pictures or just asking about their life story. Anybody wants to talk and share about the good times they've had and share about who they are. So really just kind of meeting them and getting to know them first and foremost. Like Alyssa said, it's client-centered, so they really guide it. They're in control of their treatment. We're not here to change their beliefs or how they live, but just to help give extra support, so maybe help them look at something a little differently and maybe motivate them to make those changes. And really just play on their strengths. That's another type of treatment we use, is strength-based therapy, and just taking your strengths and what you do best and how that can help you get through what you're going through.
What about group therapy? Do you do that?
Not at this time. We don't do group therapy, but if there's a group of seniors that want to get together, then we are absolutely ready and able to do it. But there are really wonderful agencies in the area that do group therapy, so we can make a referral if someone would like it. And there's lots of support groups as well.
You did a lunch and learn through the Shepherd Center. I think it was like back in maybe April or something, or maybe even earlier than that. And what surprised me was we had a fairly large group, maybe 15 or 16 people there, and they were very forthright in talking about themselves. And I thought that was really interesting, considering that many of them had never met each other. Is it more comfortable to talk in a group where you don't know anyone?
It really depends on the person, I think, too. And it depends on who's in that group. I think that a lot of those people that showed up that day kind of had a general interest in learning about that, so I think we're more open to begin with to talk about it. So some people don't even want to go into a group situation and would rather talk one-on-one. Others just love to talk and hear what other people have to say. So it really depends on the person, which would be more beneficial for them.
Well, are there, there's always new things happening in whatever industry you're in. Tell me about, is there anything new that's happening within the therapy industry, as far as how you're approaching depression or any other kind of therapy type situation?
Absolutely. Katie and I are both certified personal trainers, so we really, really believe in the mind and body connection. We want our clients to move, to exercise. We see how those changes in our lives have made such a dramatic impact on our own mental health, so we want to pass that on to the people that we see. So we do what we had kind of dubbed walk talk therapy. So we'll go on walks with the seniors. I encourage them always to do yoga and just proper breathing, excuse me, and different exercise techniques and stretches that will help to promote peace, balance, wellness, over the whole entire body. So that's something that's really, really important with the people that I see, and Katie as well.
Yeah, so many times, since you're talking about exercise and everything, so many times with some of the volunteers that we work with, I know that they don't exercise at all, and I'm always encouraging them. The Shepherd Center is located at Trinity Presbyterian Church, and we're actually in the basement, so they have to negotiate stairs to get down to us and then go back up them again. Right. And I just tell them, how about you come down the stairs and go back up before you come to the office, and then come down again, and they look at me like, horrors, why should I do that? What would ever possess me to do something like that? Right. But I'm sure you know, in fitness, what is it? Is it endorphins that?
Yes.
Now, how much exercise do you have to do for endorphins to start coming in, to start making you feel better?
Yeah. Well, you have to break a sweat. You have to at least
Oh,
sweat.
heavens.
And, every body is different, so you don't want to start out running 5 miles, or, you know, you have to really, really take what your body can handle, listen to your body. I would just suggest that everyone has their own limit, so speak with someone before you do it, definitely a doctor or a personal trainer or someone, before you kind of thrust yourself in it, especially if you have other medical conditions. But it helps to improve your strength. It helps so much
Balance.
with, yeah, absolutely. The balance is such a big thing with seniors. It releases those natural endorphins in our bodies, helps to reduce anxiety, which we deal with every day. So there's so many benefits of exercise. So we really, really, really want our seniors to utilize exercise and use their bodies to help them to feel better and help their emotional well-being as well.
Okay, so you would recommend, what would, say, someone who's, you know, just doesn't exercise, what would be a first step for them, a good first step?
Well, first, talk to your doctor.
Well, right.
You want to get the medical clearance for that. But other than that, you know, just starting off walking, moving your body. They have great DVDs out on chair exercises. I mean, you can move your body just by sitting in your chair, especially if you're a senior who's wheelchair bound or needs a walker to get around and doesn't have that strength and stability just yet to kind of stand and do an aerobic workout. So really just starting really basic and small. I mean, it can even just be carrying your laundry basket, you know, from one side of the house to the next, or like you're saying, just walk up the stairs. Anything where you're just slowly getting your body to move, so you're not just sitting, you know, stable all day long.
And they don't need to buy equipment or anything. They can use cans to help their arms, or arm circles, leg lifts.
Cans that haven't been opened yet.
Yes.
Ideally,
to give it a little bit of weight.
Empty ones are kind of like useless, but.
Yeah.
Well, and my mom years ago, when she was 78, she's 86 now, when she was 78, and I've shared this before, but we were walking in my neighborhood, which is kind of hilly, and I said, okay, we're going to go up this way, and she said, no, I don't do hills. And I went, well, come on, it's really good for you. And she looked at me and she said, I'm 78 years old, and if I don't want to walk up a hill, I'm not walking up a hill. And she also didn't do stairs. She just didn't like to climb stairs. She had lived in a house, the house that I grew up in was a 2-story house, and she finally got rid of that and got just one flat place. And so she wasn't doing stairs unless she absolutely had to. She would use the elevator or whatever. And last summer she had a stroke, and so her body was already starting to deteriorate and everything. And so I call her daily to see how, and she's doing much better and everything, but her mobility is not as good as it used to be. And so I'm telling her little things like, for balance, you know, hang on to the kitchen sink and just bend down a little bit or whatever, you know, and just to try to strengthen your legs. And it's really funny because she won't lie to me. You know, she lives in Vermont. She's 800 miles away or whatever. And I say, now, did you do your exercises today? And she'll go, no, I didn't get around to it. And I'm like, why not just lie to me so I would quit bugging her? You know,
for your peace of mind.
Right,
Absolutely.
because I'm just the opposite. You know, I do 30 flights of stairs a day on purpose, just because it's really, I feel like it's good for me. And the endorphins, I must tell everyone, the endorphins are great because it really does make you feel better and it lifts your mood.
Absolutely.
And I do all my exercise early in the morning so that I'm in a good mood for most of the day. Of course, I'm tired about 6 p.m. because I'm up really early, but it really helps. What about pets? Can pets help, you know, seniors who are maybe all alone?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Unconditional love, I think you hear a lot of people talk about when they have animals. So they help to calm you, they help to reduce anxiety, they help to just improve your mood and lift your mood. So yeah, pets for sure.
They also keep you more active. I mean, especially if you have, you know, a dog that requires walking, you have to get up and walk it, take it out. But even a cat, you know, chasing around, playing with it. Even just buying the food, getting up and making sure, you know, they're all taken care of. And also gives a sense of purpose, you know, especially if you're living alone, you raised a family and now you're all by yourself and you're kind of just sitting there, well, what am I supposed to do? An animal can bring back that purpose. Well, I have to look after, you know, my pet and make sure it's healthy and well taken care of.
Now there is a thing is too many pets, right? Because that causes stress. If, because I know people who have like 9 cats,
Right.
and they're stressed out all the time because they're worried about the cats, or when one runs away or something, and so they must do pets in moderation.
Yes.
Right?
Well, everything in moderation, right?
Right, exactly. Well, I'd like to thank you both for being with us
Thank you so much
today.
for having us.
And go ahead and give us a phone number if anyone would like to contact you.
Okay, it's 704-928-8266.
Okay, and that's Serendipity Therapy.
Serendipity Therapy. And we can also be reached on the web if anyone is web savvy, and it is www.serendipitytherapy.com.
Okay, great. I'd like to say that, the Shepherd Center of Charlotte is always looking for volunteers. So if you're a senior out there, or even a baby boomer looking for something to do, we need drivers. We have drivers that take seniors to their medical appointments. We also have drivers that take them to the supermarket, to the beauty parlor. It's very important. Ladies have to get their hair done, and many of them do that weekly. So we're always looking for good drivers. We did have a driver a while ago who shared with me that he was 92. And so he's not driving for us anymore, but only because he became ill, because he was a good driver and his wife always came along with him. But so we're always looking for drivers. We can use office help. We have special committees. We are a seniors health insurance information program, and we can use counselors to help us with our Medicare counseling, and that we give free instruction on how to do that. And it's actually open book on the web, so that's very, very easy to do. So if you are interested in volunteering for the Shepherd Center, simply give our office a call, 704-365-1995, or you can visit our website, www.shepherdscharlotte.org. And I look forward to seeing you again next month, and please have a very, very happy, safe day.